Imagine Paul Mashatile as your next South African president. Deputy President Paul Mashatile has begun positioning himself for the ANC's top job in 2027, framing his leadership bid as the natural next step in the party's succession tradition. But his campaign is already mired in controversy. Fresh revelations show that two companies with deep links to his sons have secured a Gauteng government tender, now valued at 91.4 million rand, nearly double its original worth, despite glaring failures in hospital fire safety compliance. This follows earlier scrutiny over his luxury Cape Town property, which critics say symbolizes the widening gulf between ANC elites and the communities they claim to serve. Welcome to the Reandro Show, stories that touch every South African in one way or another. Paul Sipokoza Mashatile's political career spans 4 decades, from his days as a youth activist in Alexandra to becoming one of the ANC's most entrenched power brokers. A co-founder of the Alexandra Youth Congress in 1983 and a former United Democratic Front organizer, he rose through Gauteng's political ranks as MEC, briefly served as provincial premier, and later held the National Arts and Culture portfolio. By 2017, he was the ANC Treasurer General, and in 2022, he secured the deputy presidency of the party, a move that positioned him as Cyril Ramaphosa's second-in-command in government the following year. Known for his survival instincts and deep factional alliances, Mashatile now finds his presidential ambitions under threat, as allegations of politically connected enrichment and questionable property dealings dominate headlines. These allegations have crystallized most sharply around a single high-value government contract, a deal that not only raises questions about procurement integrity, but also exposes the blurred lines between political office and private gain. Ngwato Manzi Group, or NMG, and Modipade Nokaneng, both linked to Mashatile's sons, that's Tabiso Mashatile and Tinyiko Mvalasi. The contract, awarded in 2022 for maintaining fire detection and suppression systems at Gauteng hospitals, initially reported at 49 million rand, later revealed to have ballooned to 91.4 million, with both companies sharing staff, resources, and even office space. Hospitals remain non-compliant with fire safety standards. Retrenched workers allege unpaid salaries totaling over 200,000 rand. The DA has called for a full investigation, citing potential conflicts of interest and systemic abuse of procurement processes. The questions around Mashatile's political proximity to lucrative state contracts are only part of the story. Parallel to the tender revelations is a trail of high-value property acquisitions that raise equally serious questions about transparency, lifestyle, and the widening disconnect between ANC leadership and the lived reality of ordinary South Africans. The Constantia mansion, valued at 29.9 million rand, purchased in 2023 through a company owned by Mashatile's son-in-law, Nkeba Nonkwelo, I hope it's right, initially denied, later declared in Parliament's Register of Members' Interests. The Waterfall Estate, a 37 million rand Midrand property linked to Mashatile's family, also declared in 2025. Mashatile's official salary is just over 3 million rand annually, raising concerns about how such assets are financed. This has become a symbol of how disconnected the ANC leadership is from the financial realities of ordinary South Africans. These personal controversies aren't happening in a vacuum. They are unfolding as the ANC itself is in freefall, its electoral dominance shattered, its internal unity fraying, and public trust at an all-time low. Mashatile's troubles, therefore, aren't just his own. They are a direct symptom of a liberation movement in decline. ANC support fell to 40% in the 2024 general elections, forcing a government of national unity with former opposition parties. In metros like Johannesburg, DA polling suggests the ANC support could drop to 20% in 2026. Senior ANC figures, including Naledi Pandor and Malusi Gigaba, have publicly criticized the party's leadership, warning it is walking on the edge of a cliff. Surveys show 8 in 10 South Africans believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. When you look at the tenders, the properties, the electoral collapse together, a clear pattern emerges. This isn't about isolated mistakes or the missteps of a single leader. It's about a political culture that has normalized the abuse of public office for private gain. Mashatile's controversies aren't just isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a governance culture where political office is abused for personal gain. The ANC's inability or unwillingness to confront this behavior signals a deeper rot that threatens the party's survival and the country's democratic health. The choice now belongs to the public. These revelations could simply become another entry in South Africa's long history of forgotten scandals, or they could become the catalyst for a citizen-led demand for accountability that the ANC can no longer ignore. So what are his chances? As Paul Mashatile maneuvers for the ANC's top spot at the 2027 National Elective Conference, and by extension the presidency of South Africa in the ensuing national elections, his bid hangs by a fraying thread, undermined by the very scandals that dominate this expose. Positioned as the natural next step in the party's succession lineage, Mashatile's deputy role should theoretically propel him forward, much like Cyril Ramaphosa's ascent. Yet, the revelations of politically connected enrichment paint him not as a steady hand for renewal, but as a poster child for the ANC's corrosive culture of self-enrichment, a liability that could capsize his ambitions amid the party's existential crisis. The tender scandal, with its 91.4 million rand escalation tied to companies run by Mashatile's sons, exposes blatant procurement abuses, shared resources, non-compliant hospital safety systems, and unpaid workers totaling over 200,000 rand in grievances, coupled with the 65 million rand in luxury properties, far eclipsing his 3 million rand annual salary. These aren't mere footnotes. They're flashing red lights signaling conflicts of interest and elite detachment. In a party already reeling from its 40% electoral nosedive in 2024 and projected 20% slump in 2026 local polls, such baggage amplifies internal revolts from figures like Naledi Pandor and Malusi Gigaba, who decry the leadership's cliff-edge trajectory. Public surveys reflect this rot. 80% of South Africans see the nation veering off course, viewing Mashatile's opulence as emblematic of a liberation movement devolved into a personal fiefdom. His chances? Slim at best, perhaps 20 to 30% for the ANC presidency, even slimmer for national leadership without a miracle turnaround. Factional allies may rally around his survivalist instincts and Gauteng base, but the scandals fuel demands for probes from the DA and civic watchdogs, eroding delicate support at Luthuli House. If the ANC clings to power post-2029 via a fragile government of national unity, elevating Mashatile risks a further voter alienation, hastening the party's irrelevance. Instead of a coronation, 2027 looms as a reckoning. Will delegates opt for a tainted insider or force a cleaner break? For South Africa, the stakes are higher. Mashatile's rise would entrench the very decay his controversies embody, testing not just ANC credibility, but the nation's dwindling patience for unaccountable power. If the public allows this to pass without scrutiny, we send a clear signal that political power can be a personal enrichment scheme with no consequences. Every rand siphoned off through corrupt deals is a rand stolen from clinics, schools, and job creation. Accountability will not come from Luthuli House. It will come from an informed and organized public that refuses to be silenced. We can demand full disclosure of all government contracts and beneficiaries, support investigative journalism and civic watchdogs, mobilize community forums to track local service delivery failures, use public participation platforms to challenge municipal budgets and procurement decisions. If you have any thoughts, please add them to the comment section. Thank you for watching, and if you found any value in this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.